22 to 1. If you would, please, do we have a moment of silence for whatever tragedy we want to think about today? Certainly no problem. Thank you. Stand and do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 is the adoption. We need to add item 12B, go into closed session. Mr. Attorney, would you give us that rule as we go on?
This is discuss personnel.
Yes, discuss personnel.
I'll have the number for you when we're ready to move to go into it.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Any other additions, deletions, corrections? Entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. All in favor, aye. All likewise, motion carries. Consent agenda. Additions, deletions, corrections.
None here.
Chair will entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
All in favor, aye. Opposed likewise, motion carries. Item 6, we'll open a public hearing to text amendment to modify height restrictions for adjacent front, side, and rear yards. Manager?
So yes, we had some inquiries over the past couple of years. One recent regarding the way some properties are situated. Currently, we do not allow for 8-foot fences when someone's rear yard backs up to somebody else's front yard. So we drafted some new guidelines here, ran it through the planning board and planning adjustment board to allow for 8-foot fences in that yard, under the reasoning that it would give property owners a little more flexibility in their privacy. So, if you're sitting on your front porch, you can, you won't be seeing what your neighbors are doing in their backyard or whatever, or vice versa. So we drafted this amendment to see for your consideration.
Okay. Public, any questions, comments, or thoughts? The general idea is to protect privacy.
Correct.
And this is first reading.
This is public hearing, so declare vote.
Yeah, but can we vote on the night?
Yes.
Have it again, okay. No comments? Yes, ma'am.
Could we hear the reading of that amendment? We'd like to know exactly what it says.
Okay, the new text would read, general requirements for all buildings, fences, or walls are permitted in all districts subject to the following regulations. Agricultural uses are exempt from the following fence and wall standards. Number 1, all fences shall be constructed with the finished side facing the adjacent property or street. Number 2, front yard fences, maximum of height of 4 feet when adjacent to a street or front yard, 8 feet when adjacent to a side or rear yard. Materials are wood, brick, stone, wrought iron, stucco, vinyl, or combinations, no chain link. Number 3, side and rear yard fences, maximum height is 8 feet. Materials are chain link, wrought iron, wood, stucco, brick, stone, vinyl, or combinations. Barbed wire or razor wire is permitted for commercial and industrial uses. Rear yard fences not visible from the street.
Okay.
That's it.
Questions, Joyce?
No, thank you.
No other questions, comments? Close the public hearing. Ready to vote on this?
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept that.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, request for RFQs for on-call engineering services. Zach?
So what you have in your packet was the
RFQ that was put out for on-call engineering services. What you have in front of you and what the mayor's holding is a proposal from Withers Ravenel, which is their statement of qualifications. So to break this down, the easiest, in order to streamline the process, if we do any kind of engineering work, we have to go receive multiple quotes and go through different things. We have to do an entire RFP process. Doing this keeps us in line with some of the federal regs to be able to do it. And then when we need it, we can call and not have to go through the RFP process. That's not to say that this board can't opt to continue that process when they see fit. They can still go through an RFP and get multiple people. This just allows us to, when we have certain projects, to go ahead and call, we can get started immediately. So much like if the road washes out at Carolina Drive again, we can start day of as opposed to having to go through that process. It's a 3-year commitment, back out anytime, and it does not actually require you to go with this. This just opens that up to allow you to utilize them.
And there's no minor fee.
No.
Man, do you think that with the CIP we will do for the next X years, this will help us to benefit in that?
Part of it, this is only 3 years, but basically it will help because you can go ahead and get projects started immediately. It's more helpful in emergency situations, but it's definitely going to help with RFP. And to add to this, the requirements for all of the ARP money, CARES Act, anything like that, if the board ever opts to put that into a project, this streamlines that entire process so that you can avoid some of the more arduous things that occur with those projects.
I'm gonna make a comment if I might. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been awarded about $2 million to fix our comprehensive improvement plan. We'd like to get started on it, but what people sometimes don't get is your fiscal year starts 1 January. The state's fiscal year starts 1 July. The federal fiscal year starts 1 October. And I suspect some of this money comes from all 3 of those. And we are at their mercy. They go, yep, you got it. But we know we won't see anything until 2023 and so on, maybe later than that, just as a clarification. It gets frustrating sitting here knowing we have the money, but we can't touch it. Thank you, sir. Comment?
Yes, you have to vote for approval.
Make a motion that we accept.
Okay. Have a motion, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those likewise, motion carries. Item 8, minimum housing.
45 Kennedy Lane is on here. We scheduled for tomorrow or Thursday. Okay, so that will be, we'll do the test burn on that house tomorrow or Thursday. 136 Cleveland Road, we're waiting on the asbestos test. And then we're going to burn that one down at the request of the owner. 144 Cleveland, he was inspected, he's in the time frame, but we reached out to him to see if we could get that burn started, and we were gonna try to coordinate the asbestos test with that as well, so maybe we can burn them at the same time, since they're right next door to each other. 160 Cleveland Road, we met with the East Side Committee, and there were multiple complaints about that. So a nuisance letter is drafted, and the owner of 144 also owns that property, so I'm discussing with him how we're gonna resolve that. And then 161 Peak Street, I have an inspection scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for the initial inspection of that property.
Okay, thank you, sir. Item 9, TDDA.
So I would like to introduce Michelle Newman. She is new to the town of Tryon. She is what, 16, 17 days in?
This is 14.
14. So she comes to us, she's got a great background in communications and marketing and public information, so we're super excited. Staff is really happy, I'm sure the board will be happy as well, but I will turn it over to you and allow you to do whatever you need to do.
Thank you. I just want to express my appreciation. I am thrilled to be back working in Tryon, and the town, Zach and Susan and Tim have just been incredibly welcoming as everyone I've interacted with so far. I shared a little report of the first 2 weeks. I expect it to grow heavier by the month as I get used to my duties here, but I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any additional information.
Best part is you're back home.
Yes, very much so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will you hear with Michelle about the situation for concert during this room?
Yes, I'll get with her.
By the way,
Town manager update?
We went over a lot of it in the work session. The only thing I really do have to add to it is, as usual, I want to thank all the departments for everything that they've done. Jody and Public Works have been working, especially this week, some overtime and getting some emergencies put out. So they've been doing their thing. Obviously, Randall's been the chief for 1 whole month now, I think it is. So the town's just as safe as it was a month ago, so that's a good sign. And, and also thanks to Walton Fire Department, everything that you guys do. I see that we've got some extras with, I'd like to introduce Walton. I know that we have one new guy.
So most people will recognize Jackson. He's our full-timer on C shift. This is Nathan Eves. He grew up Rutherford County. He comes with a lot of experience on the EMS side of things. Got his firefighter, and he's working with us now. Part-time hours, but hopefully one day we can adjust that to full-time.
I might inject here, Zach. Folks, some of you, and I suspect everybody here knows what goes on. But if there's an emergency and you call, our people get it too. They dispatch EMS, but our people are there first. And those first few minutes might be the reason that you're alive to talk tomorrow. I've wanted this since 2001, the first time I ran for mayor, so I'm a happy camper. I'm telling you, if you look at my age, I might need it.
Yeah, and thanks to Tim for getting all this stuff started with these amendments that we're doing, and as well as to homes address that need to be taken down. And thanks to Travis, he's working on a number of issues that you brought up to us, Mayor, regarding everything around the fields. So thanks to everybody. I appreciate it, and that's all I really have. Yes, sir.
a note for Travis that goes on the request for the Maple Street stop sign or the Maple Street signage. Could you please straighten that speed limit sign as you ever are the field?
From construction?
The first entrance from 76. Isn't there, there's a new speed limit sign there. That's gone.
That would have been DOT.
Yeah,
It's in the field.
Oh, you're talking about a speed sign actually in the park?
It's in the park right beyond the concession stand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, tonight, Bill and then Chris.
I'd like to welcome everybody out, thank the staff. I always do a good job in this town. We're always very proud of it. The citizens, thank you for being out. We had a great beer fest, even though the rain came. That was a success, I think. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all the citizens for coming out. Your presence is important, John. And I appreciate your presence here. And I'd like to thank the town and all of the volunteers on behalf of the beer fest. So,
Thank you. I'd like to add to that. Thank you for coming out. I'm glad the election year is over, so we can clean up some signs and enjoy our roads again and quit having people call each other dirty names. But, I really felt, I've said this a million times, I live in heaven. And if you've been here a while, you'll understand, okay? Okay, citizen comments, if you wish to comment, please raise your hand and identify you and say your name for the record so we can keep it. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Beth Kinsler, and I live in Tryon, proper. I have a request for the fire and police department, if you can do this. One of my bugaboos is the speed at which cars and as well as city vehicles go through downtown Tryon. There's a 20-mile posted speed limit, and I think some of us take our lives into our hands when we try to cross, even at the crosswalks. And I would like, if it's not an emergency, I'd like to see everybody adhere to the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, certainly a max of 25, because I've clocked cars going zipping by at close to 50 miles an hour. It's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Joyce, do you have your hand up?
Joyce County. I have a problem with a number of fire hydrants we have that are not 100% operational. I would like to know how many of those that are in this town and how many of them are not able to be used at all. I know within my immediate half a mile or less, I have one right across from my house that is not 100%, and I have one at Viewmont Apartments that has had a cover on it, non-operational for close to 2 years. What's the problem? Can we not fix them? Can we not get parts? I've looked at commercial fire hydrants online. We should be able to get a fire hydrant if we need one. I'd just like to know how many do we need?
You probably have that answer.
I can get you an answer.
Thank you.
Joyce, I don't make an excuse, but I know for a while we had it almost impossible for us to get one. It's like we were short of everything else. I'm just saying, I get lots of calls about being painted yellow lines too, we still can't get it. And someone told me the other day, well, I know you got it, they're painting it on I-26. Just because the federal government got it doesn't mean we're able to get it yet. So I'm not saying that's what it is, but I know I've got one on my street, 100 yards from my house, that's dead. And they don't have one to replace it.
And sooner or later, our insurance companies and the town's insurance companies can come in here. And our premium rate's gonna be gone because we've got too many that aren't functional.
We're getting an answer.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Ann.
And I just want to thank police, fire, turn field, street crew. They really, I have seen such a change in what they do for the citizens lately, and it's much appreciated by a lot of us.
Thank you. All right, not being anything, the chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel from General Statute 143-318.11, sub A, sub 6. Okay, all in favor, aye? Okay, all opposed, likewise, motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, you're dismissed. We will hold a closed session here. If you'd like 3 or 4 minutes to talk to your representative, fine. But about 3 or 4 minutes, we will start this closed session.